Well, hello there everybody, and welcome back to my devlog. It's been a while since the last episode, and I kind of explained why in the last one. I went on vacation. I don't even know how long it's been. Probably 2 weeks, I'm guessing. Yeah, that sounds right. Anyway, I got a lot done while I was on vacation. As you can see, I don't even know, I can't remember, but I don't think I had much of any code. I think I had a basic driver, a basic game thread, and that was it. I don't think there was a window or anything. It was just I was jotting stuff down for multi-threading. So as you can see on the left, I have all these packages. Some of the packages have a bunch of stuff in them, and they're pretty much done. Other ones have just a couple classes that don't have much inside of them. So on vacation, I didn't have internet access or Photoshop. So everything that I needed internet for, like to Google stuff that I didn't know how to do, or forgot how to do, or stuff that I needed graphical resources for, I could not do that. Graphical resources was mainly just for testing stuff. So obviously I can't test like menus and stuff like that without actually having things to display in the menu. So I decided not to do those. Instead, I just did a bunch of stuff, just basic stuff. Not really basic stuff. A lot of it's actually pretty in-depth. The main things that I did that I want to mention in the video, you can pause the video and look on at all the packages on the left, and you can see, which ones. It's all pretty straightforward. Based on the package names. What I want to talk about is that I got multi-threading figured out, so I'm no longer getting, what was it called? Concurrent modification exceptions. Wasn't that hard. Wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. Let me open up the game processor thread. This is it. If you know Java or know a little bit about coding, you can look at that and see what's going on. It's pretty basic. Not a lot going on there. Another thing that I got working was changing all the files to input streams and the file readers to input stream readers. And basically, if you don't know what that means, which you probably don't, that means that when I go to export the game into an actual game, like a jar file that Minecraft comes in or whatever, it will not be able to read actual files. It has to read input streams instead, which is kind of a technical thing, and there's a technical reasoning behind it, which I'm not going to go into in this video. But I just switched all those over so that in the future, when I go to export, everything should be working. Assuming I get the audio working with that. I haven't implemented any audio at all. So yeah, I'll need to get that. The biggest thing I think that I got working was before with my Mario project. There was no way to it wouldn't have worked on smaller displays. Of course, with Mario, the window is super small, so it would have been fine on pretty much any display that they still make and that's still around. I mean, maybe if you're playing on a TV that's from the 70s or something, I don't know. But the Mario thing would have been fine, but you'll see. I'll run the game here in a second. Well, actually, let me go ahead and run the game now. I'm going to pause with the resolution and talk to you guys about this. So this is a cutscene right now. I'm not doing the keyboard or anything. The camera's moving on its own. The character's moving on its own. Kind of slowly. And now that's stopped, I can move around freely. So I can jump, I can move around. I can go inside this house. Which is pretty cool. If you want more technical details on how I code games or anything, I don't know, I might do a series in the future. But you can see this is just the I haven't extended the level past where I already worked on it at all. This is really just it. That might be one of the next things I do, is create the entire first level. This is going to be the very first section of the first level, and then it's just going to go on further, same style and whatever. So with the resolution that I was talking about earlier, my window my display is a 1080 resolution, which means that it is 1080 pixels in height and 1920 pixels in width. So if I were to drop the display of my oh, I also got a name for the game. I don't think I mentioned that either. I'll talk about the name too. You guys probably already noticed that, and you're like, what? He's just ignoring that. Alright. So, resolution, if I drop it down to as low as it goes, which is 10 or 800 by 600, that basically means it's going from 1920 pixels to 1080 pixels. So, because I'm rendering the window to fit pretty much the entire screen, if I were to drop it down to 800 by 600, it would still try to render the screen like twice as, or render the window like twice as big, and it would take up way too much of the window space, and you wouldn't be able to see it. Even doing it in like 720, which is just the next standard resolution down, it would still be off the screen, and you wouldn't be able to see it, the whole thing. So you can see if I drop it down and then run it again, it's obviously blurrier and the resolution's not as good, but there's an obvious reason for that, because I did drop the resolution down. So this is what it would look like on an older display or whatever, and it works exactly the same as my 1080. I hope that didn't screw up the video. It might have gone black for a second. Hopefully it didn't. And you guys understood what I was talking about. So that's pretty much it. I do want to talk about the name of the title a little bit. So the title is Prince of Euclidia: The Seven Stones. I spent a lot of time working on the name. I wanted it to be math related, which is obviously Euclid was a mathematician a long time ago. I don't know exactly. I know he was in the BC era. I don't want to say a specific year because I'm going to be wrong and people are going to correct me. He might not have even been in the BC era, but I'm pretty sure he was. But he's one of the most famous mathematicians, along with like Pythagoras and Rene Descartes, and I guess Aristotle was more of a philosopher. But anyway, Euclid was a famous mathematician. So the setting of the entire game is going to be in a world called Euclidia. And it's about the Prince of Euclidia. I don't want to give too much away, because it's going to give the story away if I talk too much about it. You might be able to tell from the name, kinda, what's going on. The Seven Stones, basically how I wanted it to break up into two different parts. I wanted it to be the Prince of Euclidia was the name of the series, in case I decide to make sequels or whatever. I probably won't, but who knows? If I want to, I might. And then the Seven Stones. There's the kind of how I got the idea was from watching GDQ a few weeks ago, and they were playing the Prince of Persia, the Prince of Persia. And I was like, oh, that has a nice ring to it. So you can call me a copier. I'm admitting to it right now. I pretty much just copied the name. But I think it fits. It works well with the story and everything. So it works. and 7 stones. You gotta collect 7 stones in the game. Real original, I know. I'm good with that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Hopefully the video didn't get messed up, but if you're techie, you would understand what I was talking about with the resolution. Regardless, if you're not techie, then you probably don't care that much. But just know that it works on any computer now, assuming that the computer has enough RAM and whatever, but it's not going to be very graphics intensive, RAM intensive, CPU intensive. It's just going to be a pretty basic game. So that's it for this episode. I should be working on it more next week. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time.